Hello and welcome to World Talks on TVP World with me, Ashim Kumar. Iran is facing its most serious wave of unrest in years as protests sparked by economic collapse spread nationwide and turn increasingly confrontational. With dozens reported killed, thousands detained, and open calls for defiance from figures like Reze Pahlavi, questions are growing about whether Iran is approaching a critical turning point. Joining us is Łukasz Fyderek. He's director of the Institute of the Middle and Far East at Jagiellonian University to assess what's unfolding and what could come next. Hello and welcome to TVP World. Thanks for taking the time.
Thank you for having me. Hello.
Pleasure. So tell me, how much of a threat are these protests, and the nationwide protests, how much of a threat are they to Tehran's or Iran's leadership?
Well, as far as I count, this is the 11th wave of protests in 21st century. So as for now, compared to the previous waves, starting with 2003 protests, the largest one, 2009, and the latest one, or the most recent one, sparked by Mahsa Amini death, should we place those wave of protests somewhere in the continuum of those historical occurrences? I would say that these are quite large protests, but still not reaching the magnitude of those earlier, more pronounced and more mass events. We are not at the point we were in 2009. And I think that we are still, when we are trying to judge the scale of the event, they are not up to the most recent protests after Mahsa Amini death. They are significant, they are nationwide. But when we think about durability of the Iranian regime, I would say that there are no signals of cracks among the security apparatus, among the revolutionary guards in particular, nor police, neither armed forces. Hence, it's a large-scale event, it's a significant event, but I wouldn't call it, I wouldn't say that as for now, that it has a transformational potential for the Iranian politics.
Well, yes. I mean, Łukasz, generally, I understand exactly what you're saying, but there are some differences on this particular occasion. For example, we have the assistant chief of police saying, well, you know, what these guys are doing is they're protesting, and there's a difference between protest and riot, and that perhaps is an indication that perhaps not all of the system is supporting the ayatollahs. Also, there are rumours that Ayatollah Khamenei is making backup plans to go to Russia should things get too bad. Don't those two examples make this protest different?
Well, I would say that the first one, which you've mentioned, is an attempt to peel off the or to divide the protest movement. That is the old tactics of pointing out for proper protesters and the rioters. And we saw that tactics not only in the earlier protests in Iran, but also among the other authoritarian governments. When it comes to the rumors of Khamenei going to Moscow, well, those are rumors. I honestly doubt if even if the things would be much more severe or much more dangerous for Khamenei himself, that he would opt for leaving Iran. Let's keep in mind that Khamenei is quite an old political leader. And in this, if I understand properly the thinking behind his recent political decisions, he would be more concerned about his legacy than his physical, let's say, security. And well, when we are talking about Grand Ayatollah Khamenei, let's keep in mind that his weak health and, I would say potential scenarios when he will be dead. This is one of the elements which are making the situation, political situation in Iran more fragile. Because I would say that in again looking into the other scenarios of even the Arab Spring, when we were having an elderly, fragile leader on the top. The regime tends to react weaker. The game of succession starts, and that's a sort of I would say if we look into if we are looking for some specific patterns or specific features of those wave of protest, I would point out that this problem of succession is looming even harder today over the Iranian politics, and to some extent, the protest movement which we observe right now may influence the dynamic which will unfold in Iran, probably in the coming months or years.
Well, you say succession is looming, or succession challenges are looming, but so are economic challenges. I mean, after all, they were the reason these protests started. What's being done to allay those fears of being able to afford to live a normal life in Iran?
Well, that is the root of the problem this time. Obviously, we have also the political, let's say, the political slogans are being chanted by the protesters. So it has the protests. They do have the political angle, but they were sparked by the rapid economic decline. We can say that, well, Iranians sort of get used to the dire economic conditions, but the recent events, massive inflation, depreciation of real, plus or all those things connected with one more significant factor, which we should probably brought to the table here, namely the environmental concerns, the lack of water, the severe drought in Tehran in particular. Those are structural conditions, as we call them in comparative politics, which are here, and it doesn't seem that the current government of President Pezeshkian has any workable solution to solve those issues. They are caused by two factors. One of them is international. It is American and let's say Western plus Israeli pressure on the Iranian economy. The other relates to the structural or to the dysfunctional structures of Iranian economy, which is we can say levels of that Iranian economy, and the parts which are connected to the regime, to the mullahs, connected by either the personal links or the institutional links. Those enterprises, those companies, they let's say maybe they are not prosperous.
So it doesn't sound, Łukasz, it doesn't sound as though there are any immediate solutions to the economic issue. But to compound those, of course, you have threats from President Trump. Who's threatening the regime because he's saying, well, look, stop killing your own people, and the numbers are going up. There are estimates over 25 or to 27 so far. Some are higher. Is there a risk that President Trump might do something? I know it's very difficult to predict, but surely that's adding to the leadership's calculus, isn't it?
Absolutely. So again, should we compare this current condition, the current wave of protest, with the previous one? The one big difference is that we have Trump's administration in Washington, D.C., and those, let's say, that declaration, I think that we can call it like that, which President Trump issued about the support for the Iranian people, is an unprecedented occurrence. When we look, so the external factor, what are the options for the external intervention? Well, first of all, we should notice that there is, besides the protests themselves, which are real, which are, as we discussed it here, motivated by both political and economic factors, there is a huge information campaign or information warfare or cognitive operations done most probably by the regional and global adversaries of the Iranian regime. And among those, we see the strong proponents of reinstallation, if we can call it like this, of monarchy. The Reze Pahlavi is very much mentioned in the infosphere or in the social media. There are no proofs that he has large following in Iran. I would say, on the contrary, there are some strong indications that still monarchy is not a preferable option for a number of protesting people. Students protesting on campuses are rejecting monarchy in their slogans and chants, but nevertheless, the external actors seem to very much be involved in promoting Reze Pahlavi as a political leader,
right,
or a political solution.
The other concern, of course, is that a change in leadership will often leave a vacuum. What are the risks, not just for the Iranian people, but for countries in the region and further afield, of having a vacuum?
Yeah, I don't think that that change in leadership is a plausible option. We have different kinds of authoritarian regimes, and the most durable one are revolutionary regimes. And Iran is a post-revolutionary regime. Hence, even if we will take Khamenei out of the picture, there is a whole elite with a similar mindset of people who are both connected to security apparatus and to the religious apparatus, who will be able to take over the helm of Islamic Republic of Iran, and probably change the course a bit, but they were transformational. But should we consider the radical scenario of taking away not only the highest leader, Rahbar, but also the top elite, which, well, considering what happened in the so-called 12 days wars, when the Israeli covert operatives killed a number of high-level generals, it's not a thing we cannot imagine. So, considering a whole large-scale operation, probably military operation from outside, with the elimination of those
very
top
quickly,
leaders,
if you would, please, Mr. Fyderek, very quickly, in the last few seconds.
We can envision a power vacuum, but I wouldn't say that's a most possible scenario. And well, that power vacuum would probably leave Middle East even more vulnerable, considering how many weapons are located in different provinces of Iran, and how
very precarious situation for all, I think. Łukasz Fyderek, thank you so much for sharing your analysis with our audience. Have a good evening, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye-bye now. That brings us to the end of this episode of World Talks. Don't go away. As always, lots more coming up. Goodbye.